Hey! It was at the square that I caught up with her. Now what do you want? A look of extreme fatigue was on Masha's face. Maybe you want to take a short walk before you head off to sleep? Why would I? She glanced at me, apparently misunderstanding me. Well, it's still so early. I bet you wouldn't even think of going to sleep at this time in the city. In the city? This isn't the city here, you know? Your 3 days count for one. Oh, come on. It's still early. Well, fine. She gave me a bright look and smiled. Just not for too long. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Why do you carry that all the time? She pointed at the stack of paper I held in my hands. Well, you never know what might happen. Shortly thereafter, we arrived at the beach. What a lovely moon. Masha started to strip and dashed off towards the river. I don't know what I was expecting, because she had a bikini on under that pioneer uniform of hers. Fascinated, I stared as she paddled her legs in the water, which caused ripples to splash around her. So, you're still able to have fun? I shouted. She threw me an offended look, came closer and sat down next to me. Yeah, it's like recently you all think that I'm just an old hag. Of course you're not. But you're still one hell of a moaner. Guess I have my reasons. Not sure. I don't see any particular ones. Masha got up and moved several feet away from me. Oh, come on. Don't come on me. It's just, one can't be such a what? Never see anything. She put her head down on her knees and added quietly. And you never understand. Yeah, that's me. Cold-hearted, dumb, and dull. Masha gave a barely audible laugh. Yeah, exactly. Let's go swimming? It's cold in there. It won't take long. Oh, okay. The water was surprisingly warm, so indeed we were hardly going to freeze. I sat down at the towel that somebody had left behind, took a deep breath of the soft night air. Masha lay in front of me and rested her head on my lap. Am I disturbing you? No, not at all. Just felt kinda tired. She looked straight into my eyes, but I averted my gaze. Why can't it all be the same as before? How so? Come on. That was a joint decision, you know. Nevertheless, she put her arms around my waist, and I felt even more ill at ease. Why have we come here in the first place? To shoot a movie. I tried to put it off with a jest. Still, if it wasn't for you, I would have never gone to this college in the first place. We could have already She sighed. Now, I still think that digging up the past in this context is hardly a good idea. You might think so. As for me, I still think we shouldn't have. But you were the one who wanted it in the first place. I never wanted it, said Masha resentfully. Oh yeah? So it was me who insisted? Yes, it was you. She turned away but didn't get off me. You're always like that. You don't like this, you don't like that. Why can't you just adopt a simpler approach to life? Take a look around. It's a splendid summer. It's a beautiful night. We're shooting a remarkable movie. In fact, everything's great. Do you really believe all that yourself? Her question was indeed one worth asking. I do. Kind of. It's not like everything's always ideal. But what's so bad about it? Everything is bad. She seemed ready to burst into tears. The stupid camp? That script of yours? Everything is bad. You are not a child anymore. You could have already started a family, gotten a job. Hey, but we discussed it all like 1,000 times. Yeah. Broke up exactly because of that. That was your call, mind. Precisely because of your everything is bad attitude. Oh, but you go like everything's great to make up for that. Only fools rejoice about everything around them. I'm not rejoicing. Or rather, I'm rejoicing about things that are worth rejoicing about. I like my work. I find pleasure in films. Do I really? So that means you didn't find pleasure in me? She got up and leaned against my chest. Maybe we shouldn't. What's the matter? Don't you want to? I couldn't make up my mind on how I should reply. On the one hand, I didn't want to open old wounds, but on the other hand, I clearly understood that I'm not in a position to refuse. And by now I didn't care if someone who might not be sleeping might see us. But why? What comes after? Who cares? Well, in that case... The gleaming moonlight reflecting in the water droplets on her bare skin, the sticky sand, the chill of the summer night, and the heat of her body, heavy breathing, gasp of pleasures, everything passed in one brief moment. Guess it's time to sleep. It's gonna be a rough day tomorrow. Olga Dmitrievna will definitely push us hard. I was slowly buttoning my shirt as I watched Masha dressing. I don't want to sleep alone, she murmured quietly. What? Afraid of the grasshoppers? It's not the grasshoppers, it's the crickets. I'm not afraid of them. She averted her gaze and blushed a little. It's just, well, unusual. You might have gotten used to it, given the amount of time. I suddenly thought that there's nothing wrong with this idea, especially given everything that happened. Okay. But where? Masha gave me a questioning look. There are a couple of unoccupied cabins reserved for further scenes. Well, we could use these props for a while, I guess. Let's go. She smiled, got up, took my arm, and we slowly headed to the square. And usually it takes Semyon a lot longer to form. Well, I was gonna say, usually it takes him a lot longer to form a relationship with the girl. But we are technically past the... Shoot, what's his name? The dude that goes missing, we're past looking for him. The blonde guy with glasses, Shurik. So, is this right on track? Maybe. An irresistibly blinding morning glare struck my eyes. I wasn't able to stretch. Masha was sleeping on my left arm. I barely managed to pull my limb from under her head and massaged it for a long time, trying to restore the blood flow. Scratching my stubble, I reached for my shorts to find my cigarettes. Perhaps we shouldn't have gone that far yesterday after all. Now she definitely won't leave me alone. I swear, only Semyon would complain about a girl like Miku not leaving him alone. Well, this Miku at least. Well, probably not. That's not in her nature. But a bad aftertaste will still remain. And now she has an argument to scold me with, if I just give her one chance to. Yet another argument. It's not like she's short on them. Unable to find the cigarettes in my shorts, I thought that I must have left them behind my cabin. So I clumsily, not behind his cabin, in my cabin. So I clumsily dressed and went outside. Oh Lord, let it rain at last. It's impossible to work in such an oven. And it's like this day and night and day. Dude, I feel you. Rubbing my eyes, I plodded down the trail and didn't notice somebody coming until they ran right into me. It was Router. Hi, Semyon. Hi there. I shouted after him. Finally, I came to the cabin, opened the door, and entered. Olga Dmitrievna was inside. She drilled me with her great gaze. Do you care to explain? What's the matter? Where did you spend the whole night? She looked more than menacing. I was with Masha, and what's the problem? After all, everyone got it already, so it makes absolutely no sense to hide it. With who? Olga Dmitrievna gave me a surprised glance. If you can hear that airplane in the background, I'm sorry. With Masha, I repeated calmly. We don't have... Wait, are we back in the real... We don't have any Mashas here. Now it's my turn to be surprised. Semyon, your behavior is unbecoming of a true pioneer. Oh, we are back in the real... What? We just left her be... Okay. Gah, are we shooting it already? But where are the cameras? I grinned. Semyon! Oh, come on. I headed to my bed and opened the drawer. However, my backpack wasn't there. Have you seen my backpack? Backpack? She looked at me in surprise. Yeah, it was here. But you arrived here without any luggage. What? I broke into a silly smile. And I still haven't finished yet. Olga Dmitrievna, I get it that you're in the finest of moods this morning, and you have an eagerness to joke around, but how can I feel fine when a pioneer, a future a future that member is acting like that? A pioneer? A Komsomol member? Something is definitely going wrong. Olga Dmitrievna, but have you slept well? Are you okay? How dare you speak to me like that? What's your problem? To sum up, you need to be at the lineup in half an hour. As for me, I still need to find Miku. Miku? It looks like they just want to play a prank on us. Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I saluted and marched out of the cabin. I have to go and tell Masha, share some laughter with her. It's tragic. I vigorously pushed the cabin's door open and ran in. Masha, you won't believe what they've... Huh. Are you still Masha? Masha was sitting on the corner of a bed with an absolutely pale face, wrapping her arms around her legs. What happened? I leaped to her side. Lena just came in. You know, I love Lena. But Lena plus that music is never good. That music in this game is never good, period. Especially not when it involves Lena. Lena? But she wasn't planning to come for another 3 days. Wasn't our Lena. This was just something that looked like her. Masha was trembling, and an expression of horror was on her face. Calm down. Let's take it slowly. She was talking about some kind of a lineup and cleaning up the grounds, about the library, about the music club. Her breathing became rapid, and it wasn't a joke. I'm sure of it. I recalled a recent conversation with Olga Dmitrievna at once. Okay, calm down. I still haven't got a thing. Wasn't our Lena. It was the Lena from your script. She raised her tear-filled eyes to me. I understood right away that this wasn't a joke, and my courage vanished. That's ridiculous. It just can't be. Though, recalling the conversation with the director. No, I'm sure. She threw herself into my arms. I tried to calm her down. We have to think logically. We have to think logically. It's just them trying to pull a prank on us, that's all. I was just talking to Olga Dmitrievna, and she's what? Also looked unusual to me? Nah, I can't just say that to Masha. In the end, they will have their laugh and then quit it. No, something has happened. Something horrible. I'm sure of it. Masha was sobbing in my arms. Okay, well, let's get down to it. Let's talk to someone. For example, to Router. He surely isn't the main stand-up comedian in our hood. To tell the truth, at this point I was interested myself in finding out what kind of joke this was. One that can bring Masha, who is always calm and prepared for everything, to hysterics. Okay? She wiped away her tears and got up from the bed. Calm down now? Trying. Masha smiled faintly. Let's go. We left the cabin. Where to? Olga Dmitrievna was talking about some kind of a lineup. Let's go to the square. Most likely they will be there. Masha took my hand, but let it go right away. I chose not to look in her direction because I already knew what expression she had on her face, and just headed to the square. The lineup, if that is the right term for people flocking around the monument, was quite crowded. I didn't recognize even half of the people gathered here, and that fact was extremely strange on its own. Olga Dmitrievna tried to line them all up. I chose not to linger and went up to her. Olga Dmitrievna, you know... Oh, and Miko is here too. She interrupted me. Excellent. We'll talk after the lineup. What lineup are you talking about? Isn't that enough playing games? For goodness sake, it's not funny anymore. She looked at me in confusion. What are you talking about? About that? Masha cautiously looked out from behind my back. Olga Dmitrievna, it really isn't funny anymore. I don't understand you two. Let's seriously get back to the shooting. What shooting? I looked at her attentively, and for the first time realized that perhaps she wasn't joking. Olga Dmitrievna was never a decent actress, so I doubt that this expression of surprise and incomprehension was fake. What a mess. Okay, let's assume... tell us your version. Version of what? She was still blinking her eyes while looking at my mouth. I got it. I grabbed Masha by her arm and headed away from the square. Hey, hold on. Where are you going? We have to find someone less insane. Olga Dmitrievna's shouts followed us, but I didn't pay any attention. Soon enough, we reached the clubhouse. According to the script, that ought to be right here. Let's go. Masha didn't reply, just followed my lead. I opened the door abruptly and walked in. Rada was there, as I had expected. What's happening? No, Semyon. And you're not alone. Hi there. Have you... Wait, did I butcher his voice. Hang on, sorry. Oh, Semyon, and you're not alone. Hi there. Have you come to join our club? It seemed that there was something wrong with him, too. Why aren't you at the lineup? I asked mischievously. Well, I've got something to finish here. Whatever, just tell us what's going on here. Am I missing something? Just like Olga Dmitrievna, he stared at me with no sign of understanding. Why the heck is everyone around acting like we're real pioneers in a real pioneer camp? Isn't that the case? Is it? Well, actually. And what about the film? What film? The film. The one we're filming. Semyon, I really don't understand what you're talking about. It's only now that I realize that everyone around is calling me Semyon. Well, Sasha was always calling me Semyon-kun too. But that was clearly a joke. Well, here, it's not a big thing, but my name is definitely not Semyon. I stepped back in horror and tripped over Masha. She let out a short scream. And you, Miku? I wasn't listening. I snatched Masha's hand and ran out. Managed to halt only at the bus stop. As I turned around, I saw Masha gasping for breath. I let go of her hand and sat down on the edge of the road. Looks like the two of us are in trouble. Don't you get it? Everyone here behaves exactly the same as it was written in my script. She stared blankly at me for some time. Then she recovered. Yeah. Fair guess. But what? Why? Like I would know. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. Masha was on the edge of bursting into tears. Oh, stop it. I really have no idea. How can I come up with ready-made solutions in this situation? I understand. But, after all, there is still a possibility of it all being a silly joke. Well, an overdone one. But what if... Well, then we'll act in accordance with the circumstances. I sighed and quickly stood up. Let's go eat something at least. I think that whatever is happening here, food will still be served. Masha gave a barely noticeable smile, followed me. Canteen was jam-packed. Even at the lineup, I noticed that there were many more people than there were yesterday. Can all these children really come here? To an abandoned camp? No. There's something really wrong about that. However, food was being distributed, so me and Masha took trays and sat down separately from the others. I ate intently, trying not to raise my head up from the plate and not to look at the surrounding people. However, it didn't help me much. In a couple of minutes, someone showed up near our table. Oh. I barely managed to raise my eyes and saw Lena. Can I? She asked quietly. Yeah, suit yourself. While I was thinking as to how I should answer, Masha pulled out a chair beside her and invited Lena to sit down with a gesture. You went yourself this morning, she began anxiously. Well, got up on the wrong side of the bed. Masha laughed nervously. Lena glanced at me and then quickly looked away. So, how's it going? I started with more general questions. Fine. I see. Genuinely had no idea of what we can discuss with her. Plus, Lena indeed looked pretty odd. While she was usually all fun and high spirits, now she looked extremely timid and shy. Did you hear anything about Slavia? What happened? Well, nobody has seen her since yesterday. It's like you two disappeared first. Now you are here, but Slavia is... She left long pauses after each of her sentences. I still didn't get it. Either it's completely perfect acting, or the being sitting in front of us wasn't our Lena. Nope. We haven't seen her. Well, I hope she will be back eventually. Yeah, we hope so too. Slavia. Sasha indeed could lose her way in broad daylight. That's hardly surprising. I was just finishing eating the rubber-like oatmeal when suddenly Olga Dmitrievna ran into the canteen, waving her hands. She looked around emotionlessly, and after a glance at me, she finally headed towards our table at a fast walk. Oh, here you are. Let's go have a talk. She hissed below her breath right at my face. Seemed that objecting wasn't worth it, so I got up, nodded to Masha, and we headed after Olga Dmitrievna. After we got outside, she turned around abruptly and said, So where were you last night? Should you care? I shrugged. I should! Did you know that Slavia is missing? Just heard that from Lena. Exactly. I went searching for her and... Are you crying? Why are you crying? Found her. It looked like she was desperately fighting back tears. That's good news then. Come, let me show you. She said quietly and headed in the direction of the forest. Forest? I looked at Masha. Maybe we shouldn't. What's wrong with it? However, my inner voice was agreeing with her. You're right, none, but I'm afraid. Everything will be fine. I tried smiling, but even without a mirror, it was obvious that my smile was so fake that it made me sick. Soon enough, we came to a small glade. There. Olga Dmitrievna pointed at the tree.